What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA, and filing this one in the category of biting the hand that feeds you. Yeah, we got this one on the direct. I found absolutely hilarious. SheHulk star, which is Tatiana Maslany, blasts Disney CEO, who is Bob Iger, of course. He's completely out of touch. Yeah, so she's saying this guy is out of touch when it comes to understanding the problems of actors and writers in Hollywood who are currently on strike. She's like really upset about this. And I found this to be absolutely hilarious for a couple of reasons. Number one, attacking your own, okay? It seems like these guys in Hollywood have this big problem with the CEOs of these companies, and they're launching attacks and just going after these guys, which I find interesting because it's like, well, these are the people that you also have to negotiate, not just with this strike, but for future business. Like if there's going to be a She-Hulk season 2, you know, that could possibly have to go through Bob Iger or somebody in a higher up position, you know, because Bob is saying, hey, we need to cut down on some of the Marvel content, right? So it's real easy for Bob just to be like, you know what, let's just put a nice red line right through She-Hulk season 2. We're not going to do that, you know. I'm not saying that she shouldn't voice her opinion. I mean, that's her choice, of course. But I mean, I just find it funny. That's like maybe, you know, have a different way of saying what it is that you're trying to say instead of, oh, he's out of touch. He's completely out of touch. Yeah, well, chick, you out of a job now. How do you like that one? All right. But then the second part, which again, it's just hilarious when you think about it. This person, of all people, Tatiana Maslany, talking about She-Hulk, saying that somebody's out of touch. Really? Okay. Yeah, the same things you saying about Bob Iger, you can say about yourself when it comes to you making this trash content that you made. She-Hulk was an absolute disaster, and it was completely out of touch with the fan base, right? And what she's attacking Bob Iger for, if you guys don't know, okay, is that he made comments about the actors basically being unrealistic with their demands for the writer's strike. And some of these writers and actors and strikers, they got a little mad.
So this morning, the CEO of Disney went on TV and said that what writers and actors are asking for is not realistic because they just don't have enough money to pay us. But he said this at a billionaire retreat where he was hanging out with Mark Zuckerberg and David Zaslav that they all flew to on their private jets. And you know what? I don't think that that's fucking realistic. Here's a dose of reality for you, Bob. Writers cannot afford to pay their mortgages. Actors are not able to make a living in Los Angeles anymore. That is reality to us, not flying around on private jets. And until you accept that reality, we are going to be out here on the picket lines withholding our labor, depriving you of your product, and you will not make another dollar off of us until you come back to the table and face reality and negotiate with us as you have refused to do. And until you do that, there will be no acting and no writing.
And here's the thing about living in Cali, Southern California, SoCal, LA, whatever, okay? It's very expensive to live here. And the reason that it is so expensive is because of industries like Hollywood, where there's so many people making so much money that they just raise the costs for everybody. Same thing with Silicon Valley and all the big tech companies that are out here. They just raise the prices for everybody, okay? So if you're not a computer engineer, you're not some kind of an actor in Hollywood, you're not making that major money, yeah, it's expensive for everybody. All right. I'm pretty sure the same exists for New York and all these other places where you have these giant industries where like the top talent just makes a boatload of money, you know, in the millions. Yeah, again, that just raises the prices for everybody. So you will never get any sympathy from me about, oh, it's too expensive to live in California. It's too expensive to live in LA. Yeah, I know, dummy. I'm very well aware of that. Okay. And it's your salaries that are increasing that for the rest of us. But anyway, let's go ahead and check out what the She-Hulk attorney at Law Star has to say. So after Disney CEO Bob Iger commented on the state of the writers and actors strike, She-Hulk attorney at law star Tatiana Maslany shared her thoughts on what her top boss said. Hollywood actors and writers have been passionate in their fight for respectable wages from major studios in their strikes over the last few weeks, already leading to likely delays for some of the biggest movies from Disney and other studios. On top of the fight itself, Bob Iger added more fuel to that fire with his own comments to the matter. Earlier this month, basically, he said, yeah, the strikes were disturbing, okay? Asked that SAG-AFTRA and the writer unions be realistic in their demands for wages. Iger continues to make this situation more dire as actors and writers look to get back on their jobs. So speaking with the Hollywood Reporter, basically Tatiana Maslany puts Disney CEO Bob Iger on blast for his recent comments on the ongoing actors and writer strike. Looking at longtime industry friends of hers who have seen wages go down in recent years, Maslany bluntly explained her feelings that many actors and writers have been completely cast aside in these proceedings. I have friends who have been doing this for 30 to 40 years and have lost their health care because the minimums are so relatively low, but wages have gone down. People's quotes no longer stand for anything. It's just like we've been completely cast aside. And look, no disrespect to the actors, no disrespect to the writers. I'm a quote Super Chicken right now, okay? You knew the job was dangerous when you took it. Yeah, you knew what Hollywood was. Here's the thing that I've always seen about the entertainment industry is that it's not a guaranteed industry, okay? Just like any other job, really, okay? If you quote unquote, make it in Hollywood, you're kind of lucky, because there's a lot of would-be actors that are sitting out there waiting tables as we speak because they can't get a job in Hollywood. They can't get into the union. Or even if they get into the union, it's like, man, no work is coming. No gigs are coming. So yeah, I understand, it's like you've been working there, in business for 30 to 40 years, and then all of a sudden you're losing healthcare and you got to switch up and change. That happens in every industry. And I think the entertainment industry is being affected by technology, the technological changes, streaming, okay? Streaming stepped in and it completely eradicated the way that they did business before. What do you want to do? Do you want to not have streaming? Well, I don't think that's good for the public. The public wants streaming services. So you got to figure out how to, change up the dynamic of how they're doing things. But I think there's going to be some changes that need to be made by the actors. The actors and the writers, they can't just keep doing business as usual. So again, I can appreciate where they're coming from with, hey man, I've been in the game for 30 to 40 years, and all of a sudden now I got to switch up and change. But that's just the way the world is moving. And it's always moved that way when it comes to technology. Technology comes along, all of a sudden the people that used to make horse and buggy stuff, the horse and buggy crap ain't needed no more. We got automobiles. So the people that made like the little horse whips or whatever, them cats is out the door, okay? AI is now the thing. So they're going to change up a lot of the way that the industry does business, and you're just going to have to flex with it. When asked about Iger's recent comments about the strike being very disturbing, Maslany bluntly told the outlet that the Disney CEO was completely out of touch, sharing her support for the workers who make his shows happen. I think he's completely out of touch. He's completely out of touch with the workers who make his shows happen, who make people watch these shows, who bring viewers to him and his money, who make people watch these shows. You took over a franchise that already had millions upon millions of fans. It's not like you created this from scratch. So you didn't make us watch the show. The name Marvel made us watch the show. That's what made people watch the show. Okay? This is the out of touch part that I'm talking about. You're out of touch thinking that you had anything to do with the success or the not success of Marvel. Well, actually, you had everything to do with the show not being successful because you're out of touch with your own audience. Okay? You're out of touch with your audience. You're out of touch with everything. This was the worst show in the MCU. Okay? I say it's like tied for Secret Invasion as the worst shows that the MCU has put out. Some of y'all think that She-Hulk was worse. I think Secret Invasion is slightly worse. But they're both dog shit. They're both terrible shows. Okay? You want to talk about out of touch? Okay? You want to talk about being completely out of touch? She-Hulk went out of their way to attack their own fans. Okay? They went out of their way to troll and attack their fans. These cats are the wrong people talking. The She-Hulk crew should not be talking at all. They need to get better spokespeople for these conversations. Go talk to like Tom Cruise or Denzel Washington. People that make stuff that we actually like watching. All right? The people from She-Hulk should not be discussing anything whatsoever.
We started writing the show 3 years ago. Like, that's how long ago this all was. And the fact that we were able to very accurately every single time predict exactly what the toxic reaction was going to be. Like, it's both sad, but also goes to show like how tired and unoriginal these guys are. That 3 years ago, I could tell you what you were going to say because you're just that predictable and boring. But the little troll that lives inside of me was utterly delighted that we were able to troll the trolls.
Yeah, She-Hulk creators and actors can fuck right off right now. Okay. I could care less. If they never worked again, I would have zero problem with it. The She-Hulk actress sees how people are taken advantage of at Disney and how unfair it is to see the studio's wealth not shared amongst the people who actually make the show. Having worked on a Disney show, I know where people fall through the cracks and where people are taken advantage of. And it's outrageous the amount of wealth that is not shared with the people who actually make the show. That's crew, cast, writers. Look, here's the thing about the sharing of the wealth, okay? They always want to share the wealth. But do they ever share in the failure? They want to share in the success. Oh, this show is super successful. Give me more money. But what happens if the show is an absolute failure, like She-Hulk, where they legitimately probably lost money making this show? What about that show? No, just give me my check and let me move on about my business, okay? What if they could demonstrably prove, think about this, what if they could demonstrably prove that She-Hulk lost money? Should they go to Tatiana and be like, hey, give me some money. Hey, we need some more of that check back. We're sharing in the failures too, okay? You lost money for us. Give us that money back. Oh, they wouldn't like that. You know, I never understand that stuff. Like, again, I understand it's about fairness. If it's about fairness, then cool. You share in the success and the failure. And if the failure, oh, it's a fail, give me some of that money back. If it's about money, if it's about fair compensation for the work you did, if the work you did lost us money, I need some of that bread back. How about that? And again, I'm not siding with studios or actors in this. I have no sides in this. I'm not altogether on anyone's side because no one's altogether on my side. Okay? Both the studios and the actors have been screwing up content for fans for years. But, I mean, that kind of stuff is just disingenuous to me, and it makes me not like you. At the moment, there are no signs pointing to when the actors and writer strikes could come to an end, with some even predicting the job action could be going on at the start of 2024. I think it's going to last pretty long for the writers. I think the actors will get back. I've already said that on a couple of videos. I think the actors will get back sooner, you know, maybe before the end of summer, but it's definitely going to be a minute for the writers. Okay, they got AI, they got stuff that they can get around with the writers. They don't need to work with the writers. They need to work with the actors. They absolutely need to work with the actors. The actors are the ones that people watch. And, you know, without the actors, I don't know if you can get this thing done. But anyway, folks, what do y'all think about She-Hulk? Of all people talking. They're the last people that need to open their mouths when it comes to this entire strike thing, okay? She-Hulk should just button it up, all right? Especially when you're saying that folks is out of touch. Y'all the most out of touch people out there, all right? But you guys go ahead, jump down in the comments, give me your thoughts and opinions on that. Thanks for watching. See you next time.